A Science of Change, podcasting by Gilmore Crosby, social scientist, author, and organization development professional since 1984.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. We've all heard that saying, right? History is written by the victors.
Mm-hmm.
And, when it comes to leadership theory, it often feels like that narrative comes only from the very top.
Yeah, the C-suite perspective.
Exactly. But what if we've been looking in completely the wrong direction? What if the really vital insights for, say, productivity, morale, genuine organizational change, what if they're found by looking down the hierarchy?
Down to the front lines.
Specifically, at the frontline workers.
That's exactly what we're doing today. We're flipping that perspective completely.
Okay.
This whole deep dive is about exploring this, well, it feels revolutionary, but it's also a surprisingly common sense idea. The incredible power you unleash when everyone in an organization. Everyone, especially those doing the actual work day in, day out, when they're truly engaged in figuring out solutions and then making them happen.
Right. Not just being told what to do.
Precisely. Our goal here is to uncover some maybe surprising truths about how real work gets done, how collaboration really blossoms. And we're doing it through this lens the source calls the view from a target.
View from a target. Interesting phrase. So where do we start this journey?
Well, a good place to start is with a pioneering thinker who challenged this top-down idea decades ago, Kurt Lewin.
Kurt Lewin, okay. Remind us.
Sure. He was a psychologist, active sort of early to mid-20th century, born 1890, passed away in 47. And he was a real exception to the usual top-down thinking back then.
How so?
He just seemed to deeply identify with people from, all walks of life. And his core finding from his research was, well, it was pretty groundbreaking.
Which was?
That the most reliable way, the best way to boost both productivity and morale is to get everyone involved. Everyone in the system helps generate the solutions and then implement them. It sounds simple now, maybe.
It does sound straightforward, yeah.
But it was pretty radical then.
So it wasn't about management just handing down orders. Mm-hmm. How did Lewin actually suggest getting everyone involved? Like, what did that look like on the ground?
Well, his method, he called it training action research. It wasn't just abstract stuff.
Right.
It included really practical training in basic skills, things like conflict management. But, and this is key, it also involved lining up the organization's authority structures to actually support action happening at all levels, especially, down on the front lines where the work or the social change was actually taking place.
So empowering people lower down.
Exactly. And this wasn't just like an academic exercise for him. He was really committed to seeing these ideas work in the real world.
And this connects to the book we're using today.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just history, right?
Not at all. The authors, the Crosby family, they've actually been practicing this Lewinian approach for, get this, 70 years?
70, wow.
Yeah, over 2 generations. It's this incredible legacy.
What kept them so committed to this sort of bottom-up idea for so long?
Yeah.
Well, a big influence was what they call the blue-collar wisdom of William Crosby.
Okay.
He was born way back in 1896, an hourly worker in the Pittsburgh rail yards.
Ah, so right from the start, it was grounded in that frontline reality.
Absolutely. Deep respect for the folks actually doing the physical work. It's this direct line from, the academic theory straight into hands-on practical use.
And that connection, that frontline experience, that's where the book's title comes from, View from a Target.
That's exactly it. It was inspired directly by a guy named Cotton Mears, lived 1956 to 2019.
Cotton Mears, okay.
He was a pot room tender at Alcoa's aluminum smelter in Warwick, Indiana, and they described that job as like one of the toughest in the whole plant.
Wow. You can already feel that target idea, can't you? Being on the receiving end.
Totally. And Cotton, his first role there was as a union steward. He even described himself as an attack dog.
An attack dog.
Yeah, always ready to fight for his colleagues. But then something shifted. He had this revelation. He found another way after he took part in Alcoa's corporate leadership program. And this program was actually designed by the author's father.
Okay. So what was so special about that program?
Yeah.
What changed an attack dog into, what did he become?
It was unique because it wasn't just managers. It actually put hourly workers right in the mix with management personnel.
Really? together in the same training.
Directly together. It wasn't just for show. It was about getting real dialogue going, shared problem solving between levels that, usually don't talk like that.
I could see how that would be powerful.
It completely transformed Cotton. He went on this journey to create real collaboration, not just at work, but other places too. He used those Lewinian methods, but always kept his blue-collar perspective. He never lost that.
That is incredible.
And here's the real kicker, maybe the most touching part.
Yeah.
It was Cotton's dream to write this book. He'd already picked the name. View from a Target, capturing his experience right there on the front lines.
Wow. So the attack dog steward becomes this champion for collaboration, wanting to share that perspective. That's quite a story.
It really is. It just hammers home what it feels like to be the one change happens to instead of the one pushing it.
Yeah, it definitely challenges the usual way of thinking, doesn't it?
It does. And the author of our source material kind of embodies this too. They started out as an OD practitioner back in 1984.
OD, organizational development.
Right, yeah. Focused on improving how organizations work, people's well-being. Anyway, they started at just 24.
Young.
Very young, and mentored by their father, Robert Crosby, who, as we said, had this deep respect for people at the bottom. And that connects right back to Lewin's inner circle, one of his proteges, Ron Lippitt. So there's this lineage.
And a core belief driving all this.
It's that most managers, most consultants, they just completely miss the boat. They don't see the incredible power you get when you genuinely engage people at every level. For better performance, sure, but also better morale.
It sounds so simple when you put it like that. Almost. Common sense. But if it is, why do so many organizations miss it? Where's the blind spot?
Well, like the author says, it's not rocket science. But sometimes the simplest ideas are the hardest ones to really act on because they challenge how things have always been done.
Right, the assumptions.
Exactly. I mean, picture this. The author, at 24, goes into these 2 Contadina tomato processing plants, works with every team.
Every team? Wow.
Yeah, helping the workers and their supervisors figure out the roadblocks, come up with their own solutions, and then run with them.
So it's a cultural shift.
Totally.
Wow.
Moving away from management solves everything to everyone here is responsible for making things better, the blind spot. Often it's that ingrained belief that, expertise only lives at the top, or that frontline folks are just there to follow instructions, not to think or innovate.
That's a huge shift for most places. But like you said, it shouldn't be rocket science. It's common sense because, well, it works.
It works.
The source says most of the answers are already there with the people doing the job every single day. Everyone's an expert on their own daily grind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most people want to make things better. So why is it so hard for leaders to just ask?
Yeah, why is it? Well, when you don't ask, when you ignore those voices, the result is pretty clear. People get discouraged. They lose trust.
Of course.
So the trick, the key, is tapping into that natural motivation people have when they feel they actually have a chance to influence things and actively building trust, especially where maybe it's been broken before.
Because the people doing the work, they're the real experts on the ground.
Absolutely. They have that blue-collar wisdom the book talks about, that practical, grounded knowledge of how things actually work, not just how the manual says they should work.
So if ignoring them leads to mistrust and discouragement, how do you flip that? How do you build the trust back and tap into that motivation? What do frontline workers really want? Because the source is clear. It's not fancy mission statements or new job titles.
Exactly. No, what they want is practical stuff. Specific things that help them get their job done better and, fundamentally, a sense that their expertise matters.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Okay, the source lists some really concrete things. Practical help, like figuring out heat mitigation in really hot parts of a plant.
Okay, yeah. Basic comfort and safety.
Right. Getting parts when they need them, not waiting around, having shelter for spare parts that are staged outside so they don't get ruined by rain and mud.
Simple, practical thing.
Totally. They want to stop wasting raw materials, like workers finding ways to cut down leaks in a bauxite refinery. Or making furnaces run more efficiently, and who knows how to do that better than the people running the furnaces.
Makes sense. It's about removing the daily frustrations.
It is. And sometimes it's about bringing back things that used to work well, like old safety committees or shift turnover meetings that got dropped somewhere along the way.
And what about those non-business critical areas, like break rooms?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. Fixing simple things, repairs in locker rooms, cafeterias. It seems small, but
it sends a message.
It sends a huge message. A leaky faucet, peeling paint. It tells the workforce every single day whether management actually cares about their basic condition.
That's powerful. What else?
They want supervisors to be present when needed, to have the resources they require, and critically, having the authority to make a decision when they know what needs doing and a manager isn't right there.
So trusting them to make the call.
Trusting them. Fundamentally, it boils down to this. They want support to get the work done.
Right.
And maybe the biggest thing, they don't want to be treated like they are the problem. They want to be seen as the solution.
That's a crucial distinction.
It is. And the source material is just packed with examples showing the difference, the negative fallout from solutions forced from the top versus the incredible energy and creativity you get when you actually unleash the potential of the workforce, especially focusing on the voices of those doing the physical work. It's about recognizing they are the experts on their reality.
So looking back at our conversation, we've really explored how shifting our viewpoint, moving from that typical top-down lens to this view from a target, it just unlocks this incredible source of knowledge, of motivation inside organizations. It connects back to Kurt Lewin's insights. It shines through in Cotton Mears' transformation. And it's reflected in the very practical, sometimes overlooked needs of the people on the front lines. It all seems to point to the same conclusion, doesn't it?
It really does.
That real progress, better productivity, stronger morale, it often starts by empowering the people closest to the actual work.
Yeah, this whole deep dive really shows that the answers leaders are often searching for: productivity, morale, they're usually right there, embedded in the daily grind, the daily experience of the people on the ground.
Hidden in plain sight almost.
Kind of, yeah. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with is this. What assumptions might you be holding on to in your own work, your own systems, your own challenges? What assumptions might be stopping you from tapping into that expertise, that often hidden but incredibly valuable insight from the front lines?
Hey, I appreciate you listening. This, again, is Gil Crosby. And I want you to take advantage of what's available to you. I have many free materials. I am happy to talk to people about their situations, especially if you're trying to create change, either social change or organization change. We have frequent workshops that are available, T group workshops. If you have never been in a T group with us, then don't miss it in your life. Many people have said to me, of all the trainings I've ever received, I got this one 30 years ago, and it's the only one that stuck with me. You're learning from your actual interactions with the other participants and with the faculty. The faculty are walking the same talk that they're teaching of behavioral skills. It's a training workshop. That's what the T stands for. This is done in the spirit of the creation of T groups by Kurt Lewin and his associates. It's for groups. It's for teams. That's how it was originally designed. It is a opportunity to learn about theory and put it directly into practice. Again, the original design, you learn things and then you put them into practice. It was not just all ambiguity, which is how some T groups, most are led today, where the faculty hardly says anything. That's not how this is designed. So join us for that. There's always workshops. There's the Leadership Institute of Seattle, a 2-year program where you will learn from T groups and learn how to do all the organization development work that my father designed, most of it, and I continue that practice alongside my brother Chris and many other associates. So don't be a stranger. There's a lot going on. It's always changing. So be in touch, and it's on the website, crosbyod.com. I look forward to working with you in your organization or as you pursue things like reducing gun violence and decreasing racism in our society. Whatever your goals are, the social science of Kurt Lewin guides how to achieve those goals in a reliable way. And so that's what I apply and practice every day. And I invite you to do the same. Together, we can create high productivity and morale in organizations. We can create stronger foundations for democracy. We can create a better world.